Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Judicial Service. In this video, we are going to solving here CBI Public Prosecutors Pre-Exam 2015. This paper will divided into two parts. In first video, we discuss question number 1 to 60 and thereafter remaining 60 question in second part. And before starting this video, I request you please like and share our videos, and if you still not subscribe our channel, please subscribe it. This channel will very helpful for your preparation. And those who need the PDF file of this video, the PDF file will be uploaded in our Telegram group. The link of Telegram group is available in our description box. Please go and join Telegram group. So without wasting our time, let's get started. Question number 1, the committee recommending the appointment of the, this is very important, Central Vigilance Commissioner consists of Prime Minister, the Union Home Minister, and the leader of opposition in the House of People. So clearly answer of this question is here option B. Now question number 2, the Central Vigilance Commissioner can hold office for a term of 4 years or till he attain the age of, this is very important, 65 years, whichever is earlier. So answer of this question is here option C. Now question number 3, on ceasing to hold office, the Central Vigilance Commissioner shall be ineligible for further appointment to any office of profit under the government. So answer of this question is here option D. Now question number 4, a Central Vigilance Commissioner is duty bound to present to the President a report as to the work done. Option A here annually, option B here every 3 months, and option C every 6 months, and option D at least 3 times in a year. So answer of this question is here option A, annually. Now question number 5, the President shall cause the report of Central Vigilance Commission to be led before, so to be led before each House of Parliament means Lok Sabha plus Rajya Sabha, House of People and House of State. So answer here option C. Now question number 6, under the provision of the Information Technology Act 2000, a digital signature certificate issued by any certifying authority can be revoked if the subscriber makes a request. So answer here option B. Now question number 7, the Information Technology Act 2000 provides that option A here all offences under the act are compoundable. Option B here offences other than those punishable by imprisonment for life or for term exceeding, this is very important here, exceeding 3 years are compoundable with certain exception. So answer of this question is here option B. Now question number 8, for the purpose of section 13 of the Information Technology Act 2000, if the originator or the addressee has more than one place of business, this is very important, which one of the following shall be the place of business? So shall be the place of business is called a principal place of business. So answer here option C, and this definition is provided in section 13 subsection 5 clause A. Now question number 9, under the provision of Information Technology Act 2000, the cyber cafe means, so in this question ask the definition of cyber cafe. So cyber cafe means any facility from where access to the internet is offered by any person in the ordinary course of business to the member of public. So answer here option C. Now question number 10, under the provision of Information Technology Act 2000, electronic signature. So electronic signature include digital signature. So answer here option B. Now question number 11. According to the provision of the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, which one of the following is not correct? So clearly first statement is not correct here. Sub inspector, this is very important word, sub inspector of Delhi Special Police Establishment is authorized. So sub inspector is not authorized here. So is authorized to investigate a matter generally without order of a metropolitan magistrate. So answer of this question is here option A. And other three provision are very important here. So metropolitan magistrate or magistrate of first class. So these options is also very important. Now we are reading here. In Ahmedabad, the Assistant Commissioner of Police is authorized to investigate the matter generally without order of metropolitan magistrate or magistrate of first class. Yes, this statement is correct here. And option C. In Kanpur, Deputy Superintendent of Police is authorized to investigate a matter generally without order of metropolitan magistrate or magistrate of first class. Here Deputy Superintendent of Police is also authorized to investigate. And last one, in Mumbai, an Assistant Commissioner of Police is authorized to investigate a matter generally without order of metropolitan magistrate or magistrate of first class. Yes, all these statements are correct, but first one is wrong. Question number 12. When a statement is made by a bribe giver in a proceeding against a public servant, this is very important, against a public servant under the provision of the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, stating that he offered gratification to public servant, so answer of this question is here, he is liable for abatement of the offence. So answer here option A. Now question number 13. The Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 provides for punishment for offences committed by public servants as well as those who influence the public servants and abet the commission of offences by public servants. So answer here option C. Now question number 14. Who out of the following cannot be a special judge under the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988? So Chief Judicial Magistrate is not a special judge under Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. So answer here option B. Remaining session judge, additional session judge and assistant session judge are treated as special judge under Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. Now question number 15. The maximum number of special judges to be appointed under the provision of Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 for any area can be as many as necessary. So there is no limitation of maximum number of special judges in Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. So answer here option D. Now question number 16. The Superintendent of Delhi Special Police Establishment, insofar as it relates to investigation of offences alleged to have been committed under the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, shall vest in the Central Vigilance Commission. So answer here option C. Now question number 17. Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946 extend to the whole of India. So answer here option A. Now question number 18. Nothing contained in section 5 of the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946 shall be deemed to enable any member of the establishment to exercise power and jurisdiction in any area in a state without the consent of option A central government, option B director Delhi Special Police Establishment, option C Central Vigilance of Commission and option D government of the state. So clearly answer of this question is here option D government of the state. Again I repeat the question, this is very important question. Nothing contained in section 5 of Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946 shall be deemed to enable any member of the establishment to exercise power and jurisdiction in any area in a state without consent of the government of the state. So answer here option D. Now question number 19. The director, Delhi Special Police Establishment shall hold office for a period not less than, so not less than 2 years. So answer here option B. Now question number 20. Delhi Special Police Establishment is empowered to investigate offences notified by the central government. So answer here option C. Now question number 21. A, in good faith, this is very important word, good faith, believing property belonging to Z to be A's own property and takes that the property out of B's possession, A has committed, so A has committed no offence, option B. Now question number 22. A is committing robbery, B is attempting, so A committing here robbery, B attempting to commit robbery, C is present and aiding A in robbery, while D and E are present and aiding B in attempting to commit robbery. If all of them are co-jointly doing this, then persons here A, B, C, D, E. So there are 5 persons here. So A, B, C, D, E are guilty of committing dacoity because the number of these robbers is 5. So it is change into robbery, change into dacoity. So answer here option D. Now question number 23. Believing sugar to be arsenic, a poison, arsenic is a poison here, and A mixes the same into B's food with the intention to causing B's death. B eat the food but does not die. A is guilty of, so A is a guilty of attempt to commit murder. So answer here option A. Now question number 24. A sign his own name to a bill of exchange, intending that it may be believed that the bill was drawn by another person of the same name. A has committed the offence of, so A has committing offence of forgery. So answer here option D. Now question number 25. A finds the key of Z's house which Z had lost. A commits house trespasses by using the key he has found. A is guilty of, so clearly A is guilty of house breaking. So answer here option C. Now question number 26. A intending to kill B by poisoning give to B some sweets to eat which were mixed with poison. B took a portion of it and gave rest to C and D. C and D died while B survived. A is liable for, so clearly A is liable for murder. So answer here option C. Question number 27. Which one of the following cases does not belong to the same group? So option A, P. Ratinam versus Union of India, it is related to the right to die. Option B here, Bachchan Singh versus State of Punjab, Bachchan Singh versus State of Punjab relating to the death sentence under section 302 is valid or not in purification by this article 19. So this thing here, and option C, Gyan Kaur versus State of Punjab, yes, this case is also related to right to die. And Aruna Sangwa versus Union of India, it is also related to right to die and euthanasia. So clearly option A, C and D are same, but option B is not same here. So answer here option B. Now question number 28. A and B enter a shopping mall on a rainy day. A came out and by mistake took an umbrella of B. On reaching home, he realized that the umbrella is of B, and thinking that B must have taken his umbrella A, kept B's umbrella with him and remained silent. A is guilty of, so clearly A is guilty of criminal misappropriation of property. So answer here option D. Now question number 29. A seeks his feast at Z, knowing it to be likely that by doing so he may cause Z to believe that he acts about to strike him. A is guilty of, so clearly A is guilty of assault. So answer here option B. Now question number 30. A is a paramour of Y's wife Z. She gives a golden ring to X, and which X know is that of Y, and Z has no authority from Y to give it. This is very important. X dishonestly takes the ring. X is guilty of, so clearly X is guilty of theft. So answer is here option D. Now question number 31. A, for the purpose of inducing B to desist from prosecuting a civil suit and threatens to burn B's house, A has committed, so A has committed criminal intimidation. So answer here option D. Now question number 32. A instigates B to cause grievous hurt to Z, and B in consequence of the instigation causes grievous hurt to Z. Z die in consequence. A knew that the grievous hurt abated was likely to cause death of Z. A has committed, so clearly A has committed abatement of murder. So answer here option C. Now question number 33. In criminal conspiracy, which one of the following is essential? So is essential, first here common motive, common object, common intention, common here agreement. So agreement. So essential ingredient of criminal conspiracy is consent of the party. So it is agreement. So answer here option D. Question number 34. Z under the influence of madness attempt to kill A. A has a right to private defense up to extent of causing, so up to extent causing death. So answer here option A. Now question number 35. The case of Bachchan Singh versus State of Punjab is concerned to be an important decision of Supreme Court of India in the context of abduction and murder, extortion, death penalty, rape. So clearly answer here option C, death penalty. Now question number 36. A person who causing bodily injury to another person and who is laboring under a disorder, disease or bodily infirmity and thereby accelerate the death of that person shall be deemed to have caused his death. The above rule is mentioned in explanation 1 of section 299 of Indian Penal Code. So answer here option A. Question number 37. Right granted under section 100 of Indian Penal Code to extent of causing death, this is very important line, extent of causing death can be exercised against an assailant and who may reasonable cause the apprehension that death will otherwise be the consequence of such assault. The above rule has been explained by the Supreme Court of India in which of the following case? So in case of Dev Narayan versus State of Uttar Pradesh. So answer here option C. Now question number 38. A hangman who hang the prisoners pursuant to the order of court is exempted from criminal liability by virtue of Indian Penal Code under section 78. So answer here option C. Now question number 39. The provision with respect to injuring or defiling a place of worship with intent to insult the religion of any class is enumerated in which one of the following section of the Indian Penal Code? So answer of this question is section 295. So answer here option C. Now question number 40. X induced a 16-year-old girl to go to a particular office where she will have to face an interview as a formality for a promised job. As planned by X, the minor girl was forced to illicit intercourse by the man whom she was supposed to meet at the place. The offence committed by X will squarely fall within the ambit of which one of the following section of the Indian Penal Code? So answer of this question is here option D, section 366A. Now question number 41. A and B have been accused of an offence where accused person had no intention of causing the death of anyone and no injury was found to the deceased which was sufficient to cause death in the ordinary course of nature. As per a medical opinion, the injury were not likely to cause death. It could not be established as to which of the two accused inflicted injuries on the head of the deceased. The accused should be liable to be convicted under section 326 of Indian Penal Code and read with section 34 of voluntarily causing grievous hurt. So answer here option A. Now question number 42. In Dhananjay Chatterjee versus State of West Bengal, the accused raped a young girl and murdered her. The punishment awarded by Supreme Court of India to the accused was death penalty. So answer here option A. Now question number 43. Which one of the following is not an essential element of the defense of accident under Indian Penal Code? So not the essential element of defense of accident under Indian Penal Code is act must be done with due attention. So answer here option D, and remaining option A, the absence of criminal intention or knowledge is a essential element of the accident under Indian Penal Code. Act must be lawful and means must be lawful. So these are essential element of a defense of accident under Indian Penal Code. So answer of this question option D. Now question number 44. Under the Indian Penal Code, nothing is said to be done or believed in good faith which is done or believed. Option A, without attention. Option B, dishonestly. Option C, without proper care and caution, and option D, without due care. This is very important, and attention. So answer of this question is here option D, without due care and attention. Now question number 45. In which one of the following cases the Supreme Court had declared that section 309 of Indian Penal Code is not unconstitutional and is not violative of Article 21 and Article 14 of the Constitution? So answer of this question is here option C, Gyan Kaur versus State of Punjab. So answer here option C. Now question number 46. During inquiry or trial under section 309 of Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, a magistrate can remand the accused for maximum period of not exceeding 15 days at a time. So answer here option B. Now question number 47. A person accused of an offence before criminal court or against whom the proceedings are instituted under the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 has a right to be defended by a pleader. So by a pleader of his own choice. So answer here option C. Now question number 48. An order for custody and disposal of property passed under section 451 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 is, so 1973 is an interlocutory order. So answer here option A. Question number 49. Which one of the following statement is not correct in relation to medical examination of an arrested person under the provision of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973? So option A, the accused may be asked to undergo medical examination under section 53. Option C here, this statement is correct. Medical examination of a person accused of rape is conducted under section 53A. Yes, this statement is absolutely correct here. The medical examination of accused of rape under section 53A. Now option C, an arrested person can submit an application to the magistrate for the medical examination under section 54. Yes, this statement is also correct. And last one, the request of arrested person for medical examination cannot be rejected by the magistrate under section 54. So this statement is wrong here. So answer of this question is here option D. Now question number 50. Which one of the following is a fundamental right that has been incorporated in section 300 of the Code of Criminal Procedure? So answer of this question is principle of outre fois convict and outre fois acquit. So answer here option A. Question number 51. The maintenance under section 125 of the Code of Criminal Procedure cannot be claimed by a wife who has obtained divorce from husband. Yes, she has right to maintenance from husband. Option B, a wife living separately by mutual, this is very important here, mutual consent. So in this case the wife has no right to get maintenance from her husband. So answer of this question is here option B. And remaining option C, the wife refusing to live with her husband owing to his extremely abusive and violent behavior. In this case the wife has right to maintenance. And last one, option D, illegitimate minor child. Is legitimate minor child also having right to getting maintenance from a father? So answer here option B. Now question number 52. Which one of the following statement is not correct as per the provision of Code of Criminal Procedure 1973? So option C is correct here. The available warrant of arrest contain a direction that the person named in warrant need not be arrested if he execute a bond as per term of warrant. So this statement is wrong here. Remaining statement, first means a summon issued by the court under this code shall be in writing and duplicate and signed by officer of high court and shall bear a seal of court. Here this statement is absolutely correct here. And under section 69, the service of summon on a witness may be by registered post. Here this statement is also correct. And last statement, every warrant of arrest shall remain in force until it is cancelled by the court and which issues it or until it execute. Here this statement is correct. So only statement 3 is wrong here. Answer here option C. Now question number 53. As per the provision of Code of Criminal Procedure, the court is empowered to summon any person as witness at any stage of inquiry, trial or other proceeding. So answer here option D. Now question number 54. All evidences taken in the course of the trial or other proceeding must be taken in the presence of, so in the presence of the accused, and when his personal attendance is dispensed with in the presence of his pleader. So answer here option C. Now question number 55. When an accused person is pardoned under section 306 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, he should be examined as a witness first in the trial court. So answer here option C. Now question number 56. Which one of the following statement is not correct with regard to the provision of Code of Criminal Procedure 1973? So answer here option C. If the proclaimed offender does not appear before court within 2 years from the date of publication of the proclamation, and his property shall be confiscated by state. So answer here option C. Now question number 57. A warrant of arrest may be executed. So warrant of arrest may be executed at any place in India. So answer here option C. Under which section? Under section 77. Now question number 58. A person arrested has a right to be informed of the ground of his arrest. So his arrest in detail and in the language understood by the accused. So answer here option D. And this question related to section 50 of Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. Now question number 59. Upon acquittal, a co-accused can be, so co-accused can be a witness for the prosecution as well for the defense. So answer here option C. Now final question of this video. If the accused plead guilty, the judge has the discretion to convict him after recording his plea. So answer here option C. Now we are going to finish this video, and if you like this video, please click on like button and please share this video to your friends and other classmates. And before finishing this video, I request you please subscribe our channel and also press the bell icon button, which will provide you further notification of our videos. Thank you for watching Indian Judicial Service.